Federal government calls on the United States to adhere to established protocols when deporting immigrants from its territory. Edwin Clark, a renowned Nigerian statesman and Ijaw leader, has died at the age of 97 on Monday, 17th February 2025. Plus, trending news in the world of sports. Hello. Today, my name is Ogochkuka Ona. An elder statesman and leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Chief Edwin Clark, is dead. Mayor Ogidi reports that Chief Clark died at 11:30 this Monday morning. Dignitaries have started visiting to console with the bereaved family, while a brief worship session was held in his residence by the Anglican Church. All right, let's now join Mayor Ogidi live, who is still at the Asokoro residence of late E.K. Clark. Hello, Mayor. What's the situation there at this point?
Thank you, Gochikuka. It's quite a sad one, and at the same time, it is also a celebration of life. 79 is quite an achievement, but it's not a good one. The mood of the nation is not a good one. Like two Irokos within a space of a week or two is quite an unfortunate one. Just the country is there to come out from the death of Ayo Yobanji, and today we are talking of E.K. Clark, who died yesterday. E.K. Clark, a former Federal Commissioner of Information, and the voice of the voiceless, and also the voice of the Niger Delta. Leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, is quite a huge loss. But for his kinsmen and the country as a whole, I may put it that way, he lived a good life, because even from the failures, the last word was the unity of Nigeria. So let's hear from the spokesman of the PANDEF. Let's briefly hear from you. How do you feel?
Well, thank you very much. With me here is the Deputy National Chairman of PANDEF, Honorable Basi Ekefre. The entire region, the South-South geopolitical zone, and of course Nigeria as a nation is thrown into mourning as a result of the passing of the national leader, Chief Senator Dr. E.K. Clark, OFROCON. Without being told, everybody knows what Chief Clark stood for. Chief Clark stood for true federalism. Chief Clark stood for Nigeria, where everybody should be treated equal.
Okay, but you were with him before he finally passed on. What were some of his last words?
That the Clark last word was that, I love Nigeria, Nigeria is my country. That for a dying man to make such statement, that tells you the degree of love he had for this country. On mentorship, that the Clark has mentored a lot of people over the years. As a teacher, as a headmaster, as a commissioner at the regional level and state level, and as a federal commissioner, which is ministerial at the national level, as a senator, and as a nationalist, that the Clark will be remembered for many years to come. In fact, on truth, that the Clark believed that one should be on the path of justice and truth always. You could see very clearly within the short period of demands of our father, so many dignitaries have been here. In fact, we just received the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Obon Victor Atta. Senator James Manager is still around, And of course, the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, St. James Anglican Church, Asokoro, has just come to pray with the members of the family. So Daddy Clark will be missed for so many things.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ogochukwuka, you have heard from the family and the spokesman of the PANDEF, where the deceased was the national leader. And if you can recall, just a year or two ago, a book was launched capturing the life and times of Edwin Clark, titled Brutally Frank. If you want to know more of him, get a copy of Brutally Frank. I'm not doing advert, but that was some of the memories that we linger on. Thank you very much. Back to you.
All right, Mayor, thank you very much for that update. And if I may ask, or add rather, the late Chief Edwin Kiagbodo Clark was born on May 25, 1927 in Kiagbodo, Burutu local government area of Delta State. And he played crucial roles in Nigerian politics. He was a member of the House of Representatives during the First Republic and served as the Minister of Information during the Second Republic. A prominent figure in Ijaw land and an advocate for the rights and interests of the people. And you may also want to ask, what are his notable achievements? He was instrumental in the promotion of the development of the Niger Delta region and Nigeria at large. He died on Monday at 11 p.m. All right, that's the bits we can bring to you right now. We'll bring more updates as the day goes by. All right, the news will now continue in our Lagos Network Center. Adiola is our guide. Hello, Adiola. Over to you.
Ogochukwuka Ona. And from here, we say, may the soul of Edwin Clark rest in peace. Amen. Now, the federal government has called on the United States to adhere to established protocols when deporting immigrants from its territory. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, made the appeal in a statement following a visit by the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, Jr., to the ministry. The statement by the minister's media aide, Magnus Eze, says Bianca Ojukwu raised concerns over the emotional and financial distress faced by many Nigerians in the U.S. since the new administration signaled its intention to deport certain categories of immigrants who have families in Nigeria and depend on their remittances for survival and education. She revealed that around 201 Nigerians are currently in the U.S. immigration camps, with approximately 85 already cleared for deportation. The statement clarified that the U.S. government remains committed to its USAID programs and other initiatives, particularly in healthcare and humanitarian aid. Similarly, Nigerian students in the U.S. under USAID will not be affected by reforms embarked upon by the new U.S. administration. It also explained that drop-box visa policy has not been suspended but under review, ensuring that genuine travelers are not unduly burdened when applying for visas. The statement also expressed the United States' commitment to strengthening the continued bilateral trade relations with Nigeria. And moving on, Lagos lawmakers have strongly condemned the invasion of the House of Assembly chamber by masked security operatives. The lawmakers expressed the outrage during a plenary session presided over by Speaker Mojisola Miranda in Lagos.
Of urgent public importance, the lawmakers decried the invasion of the assembly complex by plainclothes security agents earlier in the day.
To see people with weapons in the chamber. This is the Lagos State House of Assembly, House above common standard of excellence.
We came here to have a normal sitting as we postpone our sitting today. And coming here, we saw that the whole house had been invaded by the armed men, which I think is improper.
That DSS will come into the chambers and take over the house. If there are issues, they should approach the leadership.
It is the legislative arm that tells us that we are in a democracy. triangulated, threatened, intimidated, invaded, then there's a big problem.
The lawmakers insist that the recent change in leadership and the emergence of Honorable Mojisola Miranda as the Speaker remains the consensus of the majority of legislators at the Assembly.
When we were choosing the former Speaker, nobody was in this chamber. We did that ourselves. And if you have decided to choose another leader, they should allow it to be.
Madam Speaker, we are calling on our president to help us.
Thank you.
To have the operatives come into our house, a sacred chamber. We need him to call the DSS to order.
They therefore unanimously passed a vote of confidence on the Speaker. Prior to the convening of the plenary, the lawmakers had experienced a mild drama when masked security agents prevented them from gaining entry into the chamber, but had to force their way through. Legislative members of staff came out in their numbers to also show solidarity for the leadership of the Speaker, Mojisola Miranda. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Cross River State Governor Senator Bassey Otu is expressing satisfaction with the quality and progress of work at the Obudu International Cargo and Passenger Airport, disclosing that the Federal Ministry of Aviation recently assessed and commended the high standard of the project. Justina Etim reports that this was during the inspection of the project by the governor.
Initiated by the immediate past administration, the Obudu International Passengers and Cargo Airport is meant to enhance accessibility of the Obudu Mountain and Ranch Resorts, a foremost tourism site in Cross River State, while boosting the state's economy. Assessing the progress of work, Governor Bassey Otu says his administration is working assiduously to meet the deadline for completion of the project, informing that every equipment required for commencement of operations at the airport are ready, except for few challenges.
All the electronic, the avionics and everything, it's on ground. What we still have as a challenge is still the physical infrastructure, which we are doing our best. That would just be to cut out some of the mountains that you're seeing here. And then we still have about a kilometer of runway to put it to international standard. I think with that, we are ready.
The contractor on site says the airport is more than 85% completed.
Right here at the airport at the moment, we have 3 of the fire trucks ready for rescue operation at any time. So to us, is a great challenge we took. And I think we've been able to put our footprint in the aviation sector, that we are an emerging icon in the construction landscape.
Cross River State Commissioner for Aviation speaks.
About 2 kilometers of the runway has already been completed fully. And as it is now, smaller jets like CROJs can even land here. So we are preparing for the test flight.
Upon completion, the Obudu International Passengers and Cargo Airport is expected to facilitate exportation, attract tourism, and unlock economic potential of Obudu local government area and the state at large. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
The federal...
It's time for us to take a break. Panorama will continue shortly. Many thanks for staying with us. Available data from the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, shows that women constitute only 35% of those in the science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM fields. Stakeholders pinpoint gender stereotypes and culture biases as some factors responsible for these unchanging statistics. Amaka Owo reports that it is the opinion of informed minds that this should be changed through stringent policies, enforce early education in STEM for the girl child, and reorientation to shift the trend.
I'd like to be a medical doctor. I want to be an engineer.
From all indications, these female students already express interests in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. They represent other female students and more who aspire and are desirous of a career path in the STEM fields. Key players believe they should be given the enabling environment to actualize their dreams. As over the years, education experts say there is an underrepresentation of women in the STEM fields, which they believe remains a setback in the changing world of innovations and scientific discovery. Need for sensitization to address these existing gaps and increase the percentage of female gender in STEM fields have been brought forward.
With the AI-driven society, the world is a global village today because of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we can't afford to be left behind. We have to promote, we have to balance this inequality. We have to bridge and close this gap between male and females who study STEM, and I emphasize male and female who practice STEM.
Attaining gender parity in STEM education, many remain optimistic that it will reposition the technological and innovative space, as well as give Nigeria a pride of place among the Committee of Nations. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And to speak further on advancing gender equality in STEM education, I have with me Professor Toyin Oweyemi from the Department of Science Education, Faculty of Education, University of Lagos. And she is also an expert in education science. Prof, you are welcome to Panorama.
Thank you so much for
All
having
right.
me.
Okay, now we have heard that 35%. It amazes me that it is a global statistics from UNESCO. Now, I also know that only a few nations have, reached parity in tertiary, STEM education. And the UNESCO database we just heard in that report shows that a majority of countries, including many in Europe, score poorly on the organization's adjusted gender parity index. Now, what would you, in your own term, describe as STEM education?
Thank you very much. STEM education has to do with curriculum based on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And STEM education is so crucial for national development in terms of economic competitiveness, scientific progress, and technology innovation. So every country needs to give STEM a place of priority if we really want to experience advancement and economic development.
Okay, now talking about economic development in Nigeria, what level of parity would you place this country?
In terms of
STEM
education
yes.
and gender? Right. Nigeria is struggling between 30%, 30-35% generally. But if we look at it from one field to another, like in engineering, we still have less than 30%. In technologies, less than 30%. But in medical sciences, biological sciences, we have over 50%. Maybe because of the trend of events caused by pandemic.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have more females
engaging in medical sciences and biological sciences.
Okay, now you said Nigeria is between 30 to 35 and global statistics puts the whole world at 35. Don't you think we've done well for ourselves so far?
Well, we are trying, but we can still do more. We can do better because we are competing with the whole whole world is a global space. So we are competing with the other world, other country in the world, not only within Nigeria. So we want to be feasible at that global market. We need to do more.
As an expert in science education, now what would you say are the clogs in the wheel of progress in the female gender taken to STEM education?
Let me first of all establish that biological differences of the two genders play no role in this gender disparity.
Okay.
But majorly it has to do with social, cultural, economic, and educational factors.
All right.
Yes. For example, when we are looking at the cultural aspect, cultural belief that there are some jobs that is meant for men, that women should not go there at all. And STEM is one of those jobs.
Okay, the sciences.
Yes, the science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
Okay.
That is a men-dominated field that women should not try to even go near that. But another thing is that in Nigeria, for example, we have some community that they still practice early marriage. Okay. Early marriage, giving girls of 13 years old into marriage. So immediately that girl enters marriage, that's the end of education. And apart from that, some stereotype has given girls a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy that this career is no go area for girls, so I won't bother to even go there. So these are different factors. Educational, when we talk about education, in the classroom, some teachers may be tempted to be calling on the boys to answer questions that has to do with calculations, building, constructions.
Okay.
At the expense of the girls.
A girl that knows the answers.
Yes. So unconsciousness, in some classroom, you see teacher calling on boys to do something that has to do with calculation, manipulation, at the expense of the girls. So these are part of the factor that is really causing gender disparity in Nigeria.
Okay, for teachers who do that, it kind of demoralizes the female students.
Yes.
And make them lose interest in the subject.
Yes, and some of them will just be passive throughout the class. Okay. Because I know the teacher won't call me for anything, so I rather just stay in my space and busy doing other things different from the topic the teacher is discussing in the class.
Okay, I know that when I was in the secondary school from junior WAEC, that was when teachers had to select the students that will be in the sciences, arts, and of course, social sciences. Now, quickly, what do you think now that teachers are stakeholders and parents also, how can they ignite the passion of STEM education in both genders, especially, female?
Okay,
we round up.
Yes, we don't need to wait until we get to junior class or senior secondary school class before we decide what we want to what our vision should be.
Okay.
Right from home. I believe STEM should start from home, should begin from home. Parents, when you are buying toys, the same toy you are buying for the boy, your son, you also buy it for your daughter.
Okay.
And apart from that, teachers, they also need to be intentional. Yeah. Calling on girls, not only the boys, they must be given equal rights to equipment, to activities in the classroom.
Yes, education.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor Tony Oyeme, for your time with us on Panorama. It's now time for us to move on, as Olumide Guntola is standing by to give us sports updates.
Defending champions Nigeria's Haruna Quadri and Egypt's Dina Mishrev are set to defend their titles at the 2025 ITTF African Cup in Tunis, Tunisia, from February 25th to 27th. Haruna will renew his long-time rivalry with Egypt's Omar Azhar. In the women's event, 9-time champion Dina Mishrev will defend her own crown against rising star and compatriot Hannah Goda, the continent's #1 ranked player. The 4 semi-finalists in both categories will automatically qualify for the ITTF Singles World Cup Macau 2025. In powerlifting, multiple gold medalists, including the 2025 world champion held in Egypt, Prince Kennedy Wangpa, is back in Nigeria with an appeal to all stakeholders to join hands together in promoting the game he is using to shape the lives of Nigerian youth. The solo athlete won 3 gold medals across different classes events at the just concluded World Championship in Egypt, with a target of winning the hosting rights for Nigeria ahead of the next.
And that's Panorama from the Lagos Network Center of the NTA. Thank you for watching. I am Adeola Komiakere.